say unlucky at ping pong. Because he said that he's never been beaten, but I beat him. There you go. That's all the news you need.
So are you aware that it's a big thing for people to say stuff and bangs?
Stuff and bangs. What season was that? When did I say? 3. I think we should maybe do a reprise, you know, in season 18 or something. We just have a spin-off Stuff and Bangs.
And of course there's Coral.
Coral? You know, I'm going to give you a spoiler. There's a new one this season. You know what it is? What? Wait for it in the back end, is what I'm saying. Wait for it.
So you can say, now that's going to be a thing. I'm gonna
what?
How does it feel to know that you can say something like that and have it seep into the culture like it has?
You guys, it's because of you guys. It's nothing to do with us. You know, I always say this. The first time we went to Comic-Con was a sort of profoundly earth sort of changing moment in all of our careers. You know, and I was so nervous. I was exactly as I was behind this RV, sort of bent double. You know, just in fear of what you guys were how you're gonna react. And the first trailer for the episode was incredible, and the audience reaction was just so moving. And it was at that point that I realized that you guys were sort of driving the bus, as it were, from then on. And it is the memes and the whole social media experiment that sort of happened during television in this last decade. It kind of fuels it, and you own it. So, I mean, I have a flip phone, so I'm not really aware of all, rocking it, still there. Who's rocking the flip phones? Come on, guys, bring it back to the old school. But you know, people come up to me like Josh and just goes, check out this meme. Is it meme? I don't know. Do you tweet or? I was gonna say. It's a family show, right? But it was. I think it was Alex Breckenridge came up to me and just said, "You got to see this." And this was just before quite an emotional scene. And it was. I think one of you guys had done her face and my butt or something, and just said, "Nice butt." So I think that was the meme. I was like, "That's the meme. Nice butt." That was Greg Nicotera's son.
We have an empty chair over there. We have a little twist, a little surprise. We have a mystery guest backstage. Let's see if we can figure out who it is.
I'm trying to shake that guy off. The new bromance is Glenn, right?
Mr. Guest, are you back there? No? Well, hold on, I'm gonna go check. Can you hear me now? Yes. Right. So, I would say welcome to When you walk through a storm. Hello, everybody!
We didn't get that golf game, did we?
No, yeah, that was seamless.
So we envisioned originally like putting this wooden table here, 2 chairs, and having you face each other for 45 minutes. And just sharing your emotions and drink some whiskey.
Yeah. It was about 45 minutes we had to shoot that scene as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
All I remember is of that last season 3 when we shot out eventually, and we both were on the same flight home, sat next to each other, and it should have been the final shot of the season. season, and it should have been a love part and getting smaller and smaller. And you can see all the security people going, what the?
I have memories of us being in golf carts and people seeing us playing golf and driving off together, thinking, that shouldn't be happening.
How hard is it to be such adversaries on the show and then turn it off? And because I know that my understanding of both of you on set, around set, even not filming, you remain so focused. So what is that like to then at 5 o'clock, the day's over, and then, oh hey, because you all knew each other before too, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do take it seriously, don't we? But
oh yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And I remember the fight sequence when he pummeled the living daylights out of me. He won. He won the battle. But I suppose it was. I remember sort of doing that fight sequence, and everybody's got a sort of attitude of like, yeah, I'm doing my own stunts. I'm going to do my own stunts, apart from Norman. But and both of us were like, yeah, let's do it, let's throw it. And both of us threw everything at each other. And then the next day in makeup, it's at that point that you realize you are playing. That both of us said, how are you feeling?
That fight has been the excuse for my bad golf swing for about 4 years. I think the other thing, though, to say is one of the things that happens on set, and at most TV sets, is time is always against you. So although we have a great time and we're all friends, and we're aware of time, and we have to be able to deliver it as we get on there, and not just for Andrew and I, but for the entire crew. So. You've got to be professional. And also, if you're going to, like with Andrew, but also like with Denai and the fight with Michonne, and I'm sure throughout the show, when you're fighting with someone and you're being that physical with someone, you better be friends with them. And you better respect them. Because, lots of things can go wrong. So it's great to be fighting with someone who you really respect and love, because it's a big old thing you're being asked to do.
Trust.
Yeah, you just got to trust each other.
And that sword is very sharp.
Well, I just want to tell you while I have the chance, you are so good. You're so good on there. And I just want to thank you for putting everything that you have out. It's obvious you're doing that. And it seems to me, he's changed so much, and it's almost hard to watch because he has a lot of pain now, it seems like. And I think I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but he's picking things up from his antagonist. It almost seems like you're channeling Shane a lot, even in your movements. But did you pick something up from the governor? Did Rick?
His Scouse accent. No, I think that there are definite similarities. I think that that's what happens with the Wolves and with Terminus. There are certain things that you'll see. There were whistles that we stole from the guy whose throat I bit out. The Claimers. Sounds like a band, Scottish band, doesn't it? But I think the interesting sort of transition that you're going to see more this season is my son, and I think that there's a very similar sort of arc towards, the governor and his rule with my boy, rather than more me.
All right, so we're going to let you guys line up for some questions. And before we start, I just got to say one thing or a couple little things. No Hug Fest this year. No Hug Fest. Turned into a Hug Fest.
Oh, it was a Hug Fest.
It was.
Me and Norman.
Yeah.
Principally.
Yeah. And then the other is, can't ask any questions regarding the future of season 6. And you can't ask anything regarding last week's episode.
You can ask me. You just can't ask me.
I'll just defer. I'll just look your way.
All right, so we'll jump right into the first person on this side. Go right ahead. Hi.
What's your name?
Donnie.
Hey, Donnie.
Hi. So far, what is your favorite season? What was your favorite season as Rick Grimes?
I'll have to say season. When did you show up?
3.
Season 3! I mean, I have to say that the first episode for me was always when I read that script, it sort of blew my mind, and I'd never read anything quite like it, and so I suppose just because it was the first time we ever did this, and I was experiencing this incredible new world, and it was so terrifying, both to be sort of leading this beast of a show, but also just to be playing this guy, and I think that will always stick in my mind with the ensemble that we had there, and we set the culture on set with the crew as well. So that's always got a fond memory. But you know, I think 4, 5, and I know it. You don't believe me because this sounds like PR, but this season I think is an incredible season of storytelling and also ambition. If there are any crew here tonight, and there may be, they are the real heroes of this season because they have bust a gut more than any other season to bring you guys, I think, the most ambitious and bold and brave season yet. Season 3, when Dave showed up.
Yeah. We'll go over here to this side.
Hi, David and Andrew. Thank you both for being here today. My name's Whitney. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia. And it's a little different than portrayed in the show. I'd like to know more about the organization that Andrew's attendance here today is supporting.
Well, I'm Andy, because I've gotten to know Andy over the last 2.5 years now, and Andrew Lincoln is one of the most generous and kind people that I've ever come across. And I'm serious. I've never, every person I've met and spoken to has had nothing but the highest regard for him. At the same time, he's probably one of the most humble people and respectful people, and in the true sense of charity and what it is, he doesn't want that charity to know that it's coming from him. So I think that's remarkable.
It's actually David Morrissey's golfswing.com.
He's got enough money in the world to bring that.
All right, over here.
Hi, Andrew Lincoln. I'm Angie from West Monroe, Louisiana. Me and my friend Alicia drove a long way to see you today.
Oh,
And
okay.
we retweet your pics a lot of the Duck Commander hats, where they're from. And we were wondering, do you really watch the show, and who's your favorite character?
I did watch the first season because Norman introduced me to Duck Dynasty. And my favorite episode was the frog hunting episode. A masterpiece in contemporary television. And I would have to say, who's the crazy old dude? Right? It's got to be him. I cannot tell what that man is thinking. Any moment of any day. It's a rare gift, and I will be wearing my Duck Commander hat after this.
All right, keeping it going over here.
Hi, I'm Selena, and this is Gabby. We're from Lynchburg, Virginia. And I just want to know if Norman still has your beard in his refrigerator.
This man is very strange. I've worked with a lot of, oddballs, in my career. But, David Square, he's strange. We're all a bit wacky, but Norman Reedus, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is officially out there with the space cadets. You're going to have to ask him that, whether or not he's cultivating it with his wheatgrass. I'll put it past him. Do you know, because we kind of played tricks on him. Well, he plays tricks on me. And I was driving to work for 4 weeks. And then I went into makeup one day, and Stephen just looked at me and said, "Are you doing that on purpose?" And I said, "What do you mean talking about?" He said, "The front of your car." And I looked at the front of my car, and it was a plate with Daryl Dixon. You get the picture. A plate, 4 weeks. So, the reason why I said he's the laziest actor, I don't know if you saw Talking Dead, there would be more of that war going on between me and him. We've thought about putting live crickets in the back of his car, and then I thought he might actually go off the road. So, but I am plotting something for Norman readers. Stay tuned.
I remember the first time I ever went into his trailer, you took me into his trailer and said, "Dave, you've got to see this." And I walked in, and teenage boys' bedrooms, but I walked in, I thought, we've got to call the police, this guy. There was things on his walls and on his desk, you were like, you didn't want to touch anything. So I had to get a shower when you came out, it was just weird. It was a very strange thing. Mostly things that you'd sent him, I have to say. But he keeps them.
What do you think about this motorcycle reality show he's doing? Do you know about that?
Yeah, he's showed me a little bit of it. It's great. It's so cool. And he showed me the title sequence. And I think it's just a brilliant idea. I don't know if have they got a name for it yet?
I thought it was Ryan with Norman Reedus.
Oh, is it Ryan with Norman Reedus? Because we were trying to, one lunch, we were sat in the trailer. I always just kind of, I'm a squatter in his trailer. And we were going through, what should we call your show? Like, we were deciding it. and then we went through a lot of things, but the 1%ers was what we came up with. It's kind of cool, right? Yeah, because that's what they used. Because I said, just go and Google what, motorcycling terms, and it was the 1%ers. He went, that's really cool, but they go with it.
Have you ridden with him?
Have I what?
Have you gone out riding with him?
We were going to Madison Square Garden, which was the most surreal moment of my life. He said, I think you should get on the back of my motorcycle and I'll drive you up. And I said that not only is the worst idea, it's the most dangerous idea. And then I said, well, and then I thought about it. I'm like, well, maybe if they played sort of Meatloaf, we might get away with it, But then he was so upset. He said, well, no, I'm doing this. You've got to do something else. And so I got a memo from AMC saying that, it wasn't from AMC, he just said, he got back to me and said, AMC want you to get on your horse. With the guns and the sheriff's outfit and ride in after me. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself. And most of the front row. And it's going to take a dump on the stage. Have we thought this through? And then he eventually got back to it. It was Jill from, he just went, we didn't ask you to do that. And I'll tell you one more Norman Reedus story. We went, this is it. I'm not very good with directions and sat-nav. I'm a very good survivor in the apocalypse. But with Tom, not so much. And I was meeting the rest of the gang for this comedy thing in Atlanta, and I kept circling this place and I couldn't find it. And then Norman sent 6 cops to flag me down, find me, and escort me to the front row. And which was very nice of him. Until they handcuffed me. And took selfies. And said it was
I love that you and your mom kind of want Rick and Michonne to get together. So my question is, what do you and or your mom see in Michonne that you think would make her a good match for Rick?
Well, I think you're going to have to ask my mum that. Oh no, she's not coming through. She is actually in town at the moment. I don't know. I don't watch the show, obviously, but I live in it, and I think that there's something incredibly cool about these two characters because they're very independent. They're fierce warriors. They do love each other, like most of the family. And I think it would be an incredible moment to see that be realized. I'm not sure if it's ever going to happen, but I would love to see that. And also, I just think it's 2 years into the apocalypse now, guys. Come on, we've consolidated. We're in Alexandria. There's only so much, you can think about war, then you've got to think about other things.
You mentioned you don't watch. Do you think you have an idea of what it's like to be a fan, one of us, or you're separate? So
No, I haven't. I'm a fan when we read the scripts. I mean, every time.
Live it, though. You're in it.
Yeah.
David, do you watch the show?
I do, yeah.
It is. I think I am a fan, but I haven't. My experience of the show, this season's been a very busy season for me. I've been sort of involved in a lot of the story, which is great. It's the way I like it, and because I do become a bit of a nuisance when I don't work. I kind of hang around, sort of trying to get on camera. But it is. It's when I read the scripts, it is such. I have that same experience. I mean, we have to wait like you do. In between seasons for that, and generally if you have a cliffhanger like we usually do, we have to wait months, and every script that comes out, everybody is on the phone talking to each other going, what do you think this? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think this? We do exactly the same thing, so yeah, we're fans, but that just happen to be in front of the camera.
And I don't know about you, but also that thing of watching it is, because it comes out as you're filming it as well, so you're working in the day, it's on the Sunday evening. When you're working, you don't really want anything else in your head apart from the story you're telling on that day. So if you watch the show on a Sunday evening and then you go to work on a Monday, you have a lot of jangly thoughts in your head then. So you do tend to watch it later. I know Andrew doesn't watch it at all, but I used to watch it much later than when I was working on it because you didn't want your head of the things you'd done months ago. You want your head clear for the things you're doing right here, right now. So it's a good idea not to.
what do you think about what's going on right now in the show and what's happened since you left?
Well, last week, God, oh my goodness.
Oh, he's allowed to talk about it, right? Well, he's a fan now. He's got his own theories.
Like you lot. The first thing I ran up to Stephen when I saw him. So, like Andrew said, the show has got so huge now, and I watch it in the UK, and we get it a day later, but everybody's watching it anyway. So it's like, I get it all the time. I get it a day later. I watch it with my eldest son, and I just think it's fantastic. I think all the new characters that have come in are wonderful. I'm slightly jealous of it because there's a lot of great actors who've come in, and I think I'd love to work with them. But I'm very proud of my association with the show, so I watch it like I'm still in it, I'm part of it. I think lots of people, one of the great things about doing these events is, we all get to meet up again and talk about it in that way. It is there's no show I know of that's like that we all have a connection. When you're in it, and you become part of that team. So I watch it with that pride. And I think this season, like Andrew said, is just amazing. And I'm going to be watching tonight's episode here. So, you asked about the favorite season for me. Like Andrew said, that first episode, because I've known Andrew for a long time, and I've known Lenny James for a long time. So I sat down to watch it because I knew those two guys, and as a compliment, within about 5 minutes, I forgot I knew those two guys and was just watching a great show. and that's been the way ever since. And I'm so pleased that Lenny's back in it, you know. But it's great to watch, and I feel very connected to it.
The first year we did Walker Stalker Con, you called it a reunion this weekend, and so talk about like literally the family relationship, the Walking Dead family.
Just saw Lou. I mean, I hadn't seen Lou since season 3 as well, and it is a unique experience working on this show, and I think because it's this story that is linear and keeps moving forward, and we collect people and they change the environment of the world, we sort of learn through people that you know what's happened out there, that they're so vital to your experience and how your character changes. So you do, and you carry them with you. It's like in life, you meet people and you lose people, but they're always with you. And I think because also this is 6 years we've been doing this, this is the first time I've ever lived with a character for this amount of time. And also this is unique. I mean, we're looking at you guys, and it's a great big room of people who just share the same passion that we do for this job. It's just the fact that we get to kind of wear the cowboy boots and ride the horses and stuff, but it's the same stuff and things.
And specifically this show in Atlanta, you know, because, you know, we do the shows all over, but we get to meet the cast and our friends in the cast. But the great thing about the Atlanta show is we get to meet our friends, or I get to meet my friends from the crew. And, you know, there's a great family in front of the camera, but there's a fantastic family behind the camera. And that's unique in my experience, that you feel so connected to the crew as well. They like Andrew said, I mean, God, they work hard, and they deliver all the time. And there's a really great, you know, from the top to the bottom, there's an inclusivity of everybody. Everybody's involved, everyone has their time. And I think from our department, you know, from the actors department, it's a show that likes actors. And not all shows do. You know, you get on shows and they hate actors. You're in the way. They want you in and off. And this show loves actors. And that, for me, comes from the top. It comes from this man. Because he's a great professional actor. You know, he's a great actor, we know that, but he's a great professional as well. And he likes actors. When I walk on a set with some leading actors, they don't want you to be there. And they don't really want you to shine sometimes. This man wants everybody to shine. Front and back, behind the camera, and front of the camera. That's an infectious quality. It's a really infectious quality. Everyone catches it around the set, and it's wonderful to be on. So that's why we're so connected.
That's true. But there's a great thing that we're doing each season. We do sort of, the crew does and makes t-shirts, you know, for each department. And this year, I don't know if I'm spoiling anything for the crew, but I think they all know this. If they don't, they're going to know in about 30 seconds. We're making sort of military jackets, and each department's going to put a badge and all the rest of it. And for however many years you've been in the show, you get stripes. And it's one of the coolest things, you know, that there are, I think, 17 or 18 people with 6 stripes on there, which is in key departments, which is a huge, huge mark of why this show is